Thank you for sending your response to my survey. The number one question that I got about how to attract and allow more money into your life is how to overcome money blocks, how to overcome negative belief systems around money. You know, the self-sabotaging beliefs that hold you back and cause you not to get the things that you want. You know, how to rewire our financial set point. Well, the good news is that you can rewire your financial set point. And in this short video, I'm going to talk with you about what you need to do and why this is such a problem. All right, so here's the thing. When we were not born with the ability to think and to reason. And in fact, we couldn't decide what was right, what was wrong, what was good, what was bad. You know, our parents taught us that. So we're not born into this world with filters. So we cannot decide what's good for us, what's not good for us, and whether beliefs are good for us or whether they're going to help us or not, or if it's going to help us have more money or live the life that we want. And the scientific term is actually called hypnagogic trance. So we were in a trance. Why? Because we couldn't filter out information. We couldn't decide what we wanted in our lives. We don't get that or have that ability until we're about 6 or 7 years old. That's when it starts to kick into place. But before then, everything our parents says is a fact, right? Everything was a fact. So if our parents had arguments about money, if they had even the silent ones where, you know, you could hear it going on, but you didn't know what it was, or maybe they were talking about things they couldn't afford, or maybe they told you certain things like, well, we can't afford this, or you can't afford that, or where are you going to get the money for that, or that's too much. You know, maybe this is the language that they used around you pretty readily and pretty easily, and so you got accustomed to it. And today you might even say those words, and it's likely that you say those words to yourself and to others, and you're teaching it, and that's just normal. But the bottom line is you have the ability to change that. You have the ability to change your filter. So here's what's happened as a result of you having this kind of programming going on. You're going around with a so-called psychological emergency brake. So whenever something happens, a circumstance happens, or you get a bill that you didn't imagine, and or maybe it's a tax bill or something like that, and it's like, whoa, that's big, and then you start going into fear and you just you internalize the issue, and then the thoughts start coming out, and so you have this emergency brake that stops you from doing things. So you might have said, I'm going to go on vacation this year, and you start planning that, but next thing you know, the bill comes in and you're like, whoa, okay, no more vacation, we're not doing that. So you have the gas pedal on saying, yeah, I love to go on vacation, need to decompress, want to have a good time, but then you have the psychological emergency brake. And here's what's happened. Because of this period between 0 and 6, 7 years old, you have what I call a mental filing cabinet. And things were put in that filing cabinet. It was your beliefs around money, your beliefs around things you can afford, beliefs around things you can get, beliefs around things you should have, beliefs around what you should be able to spend or buy, and so you can't expand those unless you're aware of them. And so they're in there, they've been filed away, and every time you have a circumstance that happens in your life, you pull these files, your conscious mind pulls them, and then your mind gets flooded with all these fears around money. There's not enough, or I can't afford that, or I should just save up, I need to save for a rainy day. I don't know when things are going to go bad or, get better, right? So you have to recognize what kind of beliefs you have running around in your mind. And once you do, you can actually get to work on them. Because right now, if you don't know what's going on, you can't solve it, right? So once you recognize the beliefs, you have to take a simple but subtle approach to changing them. And here's the reason why. This thing on top of our shoulders here, this information system, this is our fueling station, this is the information station. It's very intelligent, and it will catch on to any time you try to go against a belief that's really big, right? It knows, it recognizes. In fact, you have a part of your mind called the amygdala, and it's the flight or fright mechanism. It's what we had when we were being chased by saber-toothed tigers. It kept us alive, right? It's flight or fright because, if you let anything get in the way of a saber-toothed tiger, if it's just not, you getting away from it fast enough, using your energy to get away from it, and you need time to get away from it, then, if you diverted your attention to anything else, like gathering food or something like that, well, you're dead, right? So the flight or fright mechanism is there, and it's always there with us. But today, it's actually going against us in some way, but you can overcome it if you use simple and subtle ways to shift your mind And there are ways, there's great techniques. And I'll be sharing some of those in my Conversations with Money course, which I'll be talking more about that, which is coming out soon. So here's the thing. There's a way to shift your mind, and I'm going to share a little tactic that I learned from one of the world's greatest martial artists. Now this guy, he's probably the best martial artist, I don't know, but I have to say he knew what was going on in here, and he was physically in tune with everything. I mean, he could play ping pong with nunchucks. So if you can imagine that, you know, hitting ping pong ball with nunchucks. Now you might have seen this video, so I might have given it away. Maybe you saw it on YouTube. But this guy was so good and he was so popular that Hollywood even picked him up. So his name is Bruce Lee. You know who Bruce is. I mean, he was just phenomenal at martial artistry, if that's the word. You know, and he was just amazing. And he was so tuned in. But here's a little practice I learned about researching and studying him. If he had a thought, now let's say if it was a negative thought around money, I can't afford this, or that's too much, or I don't know how to, you know, purchase this or get this done because it's going to cost so much money. What he would do is he would take those words and put them across the screen of his mind. And then he would light them on fire and he would burn them to a crisp. He would let them go. He would burn them and let them go. And by doing that, his mind is letting go of these, maybe one thought, but it's also a multitude of thoughts that are going to spawn and from it that are holding him back. But he's burning them, shredding them, letting go. Now, there's another book that I studied called Psycho-Cybernetics, which talks about the same practice, but a little bit different. And Maxwell Maltz wrote about it. He was a plastic surgeon. And what he did was he changed people's look. He changed their image, their outer image. But you know what he noticed through his research and his work and all of his plastic surgery? That people didn't change their self-image, even if their physical image had changed. Nothing had changed. So he talks about this practice in his book, and the practice is very similar, but it's just getting the thoughts out of your head and putting them somewhere where you can do something with them. And I always say that thoughts become entangled as they pass through your lips and over fingertips. So as you speak them and as you write them or type them, you can get them, or type them on your phone, you can get them out of your head and you can put them somewhere where you can do something with them. So a little practice he talked about in his book was to write down your negative thoughts. So I can't afford this, that's too much. Where am I going to get the money for that? You know, I need to save money for retirement, or whatever those thoughts are. Just write them down. Whatever the fear is around money and getting the things you want, write them down on a sheet of paper. And then what he suggested was that you take them outside. Take it outside and shred it or burn it. I like burning, and honestly, if you do take it outside to burn it. And if you're going to burn it, take it outside, because I don't want anybody burning anything inside. So take it outside, burn it. And what you do is you let it go. You let it go out to the universe, right? You physically, mentally, emotionally let it go. So that's a little practice that you can do. And I would suggest that you try it. Just try it out and let me know how it works, okay? All right, so you have this little practice that you can do, but right now, what I want to really know is a little bit more about you. I want to know a little bit about your challenges with money. I want to know what you're struggling to do, what you want. You know, what you want to do with your money. If you had money, what would you do with it? You know, I want to know a little bit about that, about you, so I can provide you some more feedback and tools and resources that are going to help you there. So please, leave a comment or drop me a personal note, and I'll provide you with some feedback. Okay?